Started. Skin Hardaway 7T, and I'm here for a good time, not a long time. If y'all could do your boy a favor, y'all could smash that like button and hit that subscription button if this is your first time in the building. Today, I'm here with a quick, Teofimo Lopez story. Teofimo Lopez Sr., right? Teofimo Lopez got a fight coming up this weekend. It is Teofimo Lopez, fight weekend. He's taking on Pedro Campa in a tough fight, I think, for Teo, especially with his first fight being back. With his first fight being back since the Cambosis loss, and his first fight at the 140-pound division. But Teo has been, I just gave Teo some credit not too long ago about being quiet, on, this situation. I gave him credit, about being more focused, being a little less quiet, being worried more about the actual fight at hand than, actually selling, the fight at hand, So, but, of course, the closer we get to the fight, the more that, the more interviews they do, the more media that they do. And Teofimo Sr. said something, that kind of stood out to me. It stood out to me because I feel like I heard this before. Actually, I know I heard this before. I'm certain that I heard this before from Teofimo Sr. Teofimo Sr. said something like this of the sort around when Teofimo was about to fight George Cambosis. You know what I mean? Teo and George Cambosis was having that big, back and forth, that big spat before their unified showcase bout. You know what I mean? It was a lot of, a lot of mess, for lack of a better word. A lot of back and forth talk between the two. And Teofimo's dad, he integrated himself in the situation as he always does, as he does a lot, for Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez pops, kind of lives vicariously through Teofimo Lopez Jr. You know what I mean? But Teofimo Lopez said in the pre-fight to George Cambosis that Teofimo Lopez will go in there and he will knock out George Cambosis in the first round and show George Cambosis that he don't belong in the same ring as Teofimo Lopez, right? We all know what happened with that fight between Teofimo Lopez and George Cambosis, right? George Cambosis ended up upsetting Teo. He actually knocked Teo down in the very first round of that fight, and he went on to win the split decision over Teofimo Lopez. You know what I mean? So the Teofimo Lopez camp has been, fairly quiet, especially compared to how they normally are, pre-fight. The Teofimo Lopez has been fairly quiet in the lead up to this fight, and I gave them credit literally just yesterday on, them seem to be more focused, more quiet and more locked in on the task at hand. But Teofimo Lopez said something now that kind of got me worried. Now I'm worried because I know I heard this before from Teofimo Lopez Sr. But I'm about to read the article where I got it from. Teofimo Lopez Sr. is predicting that his son Teo will score an early knockout over Pedro Campa in the 10-round headliner this Saturday, August 13 on ESPN Plus in Las Vegas. So Teofimo Sr. is once again, guaranteeing an early knockout in the fight. The last time he did this, Teofimo Lopez ended up taking his first loss, and that's what got me a little worried. But I'm gonna continue to read. Top Rank has given former unified lightweight champion Teofimo 16-1, a serviceable veteran in Campa, 34-1 for him to get some rounds in, engage where he's at. gauge where he and his esophagus is at after last November's injury. As long as Teofimo Lopez wins in flying colors against the 30-year-old Campa, Top Rank will schedule him to fight a better fighter in his second bout at the 140 weight division. I don't think Campa is that bad of a fighter, but I digress. Not much is known about the Mexican native Campa, considering he's fought largely obscure opposition during his career until now. We do know Campa is a valiant puncher and in some ways as much of a threat to Teofimo as George Kambosos. I actually think Pedro Campa is a bigger threat to Teofimo than George Kambosos, but let me get through this. We're going to see. We're going in there, and we're going to do what we do. When it's box, said Teofimo Lopez. When asked Teofimo, what would Teofimo do against Pedro Campa on Saturday? He told this to Fight Hype. This interview is on Fight Hype. If the knockout comes, it comes. I predict the knockout. It should be early. You can't take anything away from Campa. He's 34-1. This guy's experienced. We got to focus on him like we're fighting the world champion. So I'm glad that he doubled back on that and said we got to focus on him like we're fighting the world champion. I like that coming from Teofimo Sr. But when he say that he feel like he gonna knock a guy out early in the first round, I get a little nervous because last time I heard that Teo ended up taking a loss. That's how we fight. We fight the best fighters in the world. That's what makes my son great. But this time we'll be able to box, stay in range, pick your shots, and get him out of there. Now that I like hearing from Teofimo Lopez Sr. When he explained the actual knockout, I'm a little more calm now. You know what I mean? Than I am before. Reading this article. You know what I mean? Type deal. So he said, yep, Teofimo go find his range, pick his shots, and get him out of there. That's exactly what I said in my breakdown, man. It's crazy how a lot of times these folks be saying exactly the same things that we be saying. That's wild. But that's the way that I see Teofimo Lopez beating him. Again, I picked Campa on record to beat Teofimo by a split decision. But if Teofimo is going to win, he's going to have to do just that. So maybe the fact that Teofimo Lopez Sr. has the right game plan going into it, that may help them out, better in this fight. Now, it's one thing to have the right game plan. It's another thing to execute the right game plan. You know what I mean? But I digress because I ain't finna be here too much longer. If we win, we could get him out of there soon. It'll happen soon. If not, the mid-rounds tops. That's what I'm calling. We got to put an exclamation point in this fight. We know what happened last time, and we just got to make this the best fight. The fight of the year thing, this is the fight of the year type thing. That's what we're looking for this year. Hopefully we do good in fighting December. The fighter of the year type thing, that's what we're looking for. Hopefully we do good in fighting December. We be one of the greatest fighters out there right now. We'll probably become the fighter of the year. I will become coach of the year again in 2022. We did it in 2020. Why can't we do it now? We did it with the toughest guys, Lomachenko. We're good. We're ready to go. We're ready to roll. Don't miss it. August 13th, be there, says Teofimo Lopez Sr. So Teofimo Lopez, I kind of heard him say this before, you know what I mean? I'm a little worried, but he also did, drop a little, bit of what he thinks Teofimo Lopez needs to do to win. And I did like that aspect part of it. But, I feel like I heard this before when it comes to Teofimo Lopez Sr. And the last time I heard this, Teofimo Lopez ended up getting beat. You know what I mean? But again, I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I ain't going to keep y'all too much longer. I just want to come in here, drop that little tad bit information to let y'all know what Teofimo Lopez Sr. has said. Teofimo Lopez Sr., fight this weekend. Also on the card is Xander Zayas, Troy Isley, and also Duke Reagan. I'm going to do a Southern Tea a little later on about those guys. You know what I mean? About an hour and a half. Make sure y'all tune into that. But before I get up out of here, Skin the Hardaway Southern Tea. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But this the present. This how we rocking. And I'm out. Love.